The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland. I'm Art Silva, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is dedicated to your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. Our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. We are celebrating the grand opening of our new family service facility. We're going to take this opportunity to introduce our clinical staff to our listening audience. So, joining me today are my friends from Family Services, Chief Operating Officer Brenda Geisinger, and licensed therapist Stacy Norton-Modell, and Amy Small. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about, we're excited here because we got a new facility, a new building we've moved into, and now we're going to share with you the stars. It's not the building, it's the people in it. So we're going to talk about our clinical staff over at Family Services. So first of all, let me introduce Stacy Norton-Modell. And Stacy, tell us a little about you and your experience at Boys and Girls Home.
Well, I will have been there 36 years in December, so that's a big...
That's awesome.
Whoa, I'll tell you, that's great. You must have a lot of good stories you can share with us.
Yeah, I have a lot of good experiences, and I have my license in social work in Iowa, and I'm also a registered play therapist, so I have a little extra training with play therapy. But otherwise, I see a variety of people and enjoy working with all different ages.
Well, we have a group of special people at Family Services, and I'm going to introduce another one right now, and that's Amy Small, clinical therapist. Amy?
Hello. So I have been with Family Services not quite as long as Stacy. It's only about 4 years, a little over that. I started with Family Services with a great program that used to be available was the AWARE, where I would be a school-based therapist. And when that program wasn't an option anymore, I've transitioned over to Family Services. So that's where I am now as an outpatient therapist. And I guess I've got alphabet soup behind my name, but I really like to work children and adolescents is kind of my specialty.
Well, that's great. Stacy, let's go back. You mentioned previously that you did play therapy. Give us a little more. I want to learn more about what you do. I'm bringing my child in to see you. And why should I come see you?
Well, play therapy, the philosophy is that play is a child's language and toys are their words. So with kids, you can't sit like you and I are talking and communicate with children. So through activities, play therapy interventions, and playing with the toys, they're able to work through their feelings.
Any age group in particular, or what range do you deal with in children?
It depends. It depends on their cognitive development. With play therapy techniques, you can use those with adolescents and adults, actually.
Interesting. So you've been doing this for 36 years.
Yes.
God bless you. That is wonderful. We're going to come back to some of your experiences a little later on. Amy, you are just full of energy, and you love working with children and adolescents. So let's talk about something that you do. What do you think you like to specialize in?
Well, I am definitely a visual person. So when I am in therapy with someone or doing therapy with someone, I do a lot of experiential things. For me, that makes sense. It makes more connections in the brain, and the more connections that you can make within the brain helps you remember things and also promotes positive change and growth. So for me, there's a lot of activity that happens in my office, and we just really have a serious time when we need to have serious time, but also there's a lot of interaction there that happens.
Are the majority of your clients adolescents?
So I do see all age groups. I do have specialized training to work with adolescents that have problematic sexual behaviors. So I do see, and that can range from inappropriate use of social media or internet or, sexually acting out on another person. So I have do work a lot with that, but I also am a trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapist, so I also work with victims. So it's kind of a unique experience that I have seen both sides of the situations.
Well, just the ability to shift gears like that has me kind of like scratching my head because it's such extremes. So that's interesting. Stacy, let's go back to your children now. You work mainly with children?
No.
Okay,
No,
well,
I
let's
work
go.
with all ages.
Let's cover the other side of the spectrum then.
Okay.
Who do you work with? Tell me about some of the adults and adolescents you work with, and specifically what type of issues do you work with there without breaking confidence?
Well, issues, there's all kinds. With adults, I would say more mental illness issues like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, mood disorder, sometimes schizophrenia, that kind of thing. Adolescents, a lot of times they will come in due to a problem, but a lot of times there's an underlying mental illness with them. They may have anxiety or depression, so it's a matter of seeing if they need to maybe be on some medication and then working on helping them deal with whatever the problem is or the area of stress in their life.
I'm Art Silva, and you're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well, and with me from Family Services are my friends Brenda Geisinger, Amy Small, and Stacy Norton-Modell. Let me ask you this, Stacy. What changes have you noticed in the mental health arena during your 36 years? Something to think about.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know if there's any dramatic change. Just, I think society has changed a little bit. I think there's maybe more divorce. I think we're seeing mental health issues with children, adolescents, and adults, but I think more feel comfortable coming to therapy. We're in a different generation where, like my parents, that was kind of taboo.
Uncle Charlie in the back room and nobody talks about it.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's the difference, that people feel more comfortable coming
And that's
to
a
therapy.
big change. Amy, your views on what's changed in the mental health arena?
I'm going to go along with Stacy a little bit here. I think it's people's normalization of going in and having a checkup from the neck up. As similar to how you have a checkup with a doctor. You know, people are talking about it. There's not as big of concern to say, you know, I meet with a therapist, this is what's going on. And, you know, it's not forever. We are processing through some hard things. I'm making some changes, but I'm doing what's good for me. And so I like to see that. I still think there is some stigma, but there's a lot of, the discussion about it has changed, which is nice to see. And I hope that continues to happen.
We've seen that a lot recently with the celebrities and athletes talking about their mental illnesses and the problems they have, most recently as Simone Biles. And then you found out after the fact that she was kind of mourning the loss of an aunt, and she didn't want to get all through that. But people are starting to accept that their mental wellness and that there are days that they are just not on. And in the past, we couldn't figure out why. We just kind of stumbled through it. But now there's more information out there. There's more help out there. And I think that all leads to, hey, let me go call someone and get some help. I can get some help out there.
Yes.
So I think what you ladies do is absolutely fantastic. And I think we're kind of coming into your era right now. But let me ask you this. One of the changes that I've noticed, and mostly more recently and brought on by COVID, was telehealth. What are your thoughts on telehealth? Stacy?
Well, I think it worked well during that time because a lot of anxiety about COVID and people did need to talk. So it was very nice that was an option for people.
Now, is that something you would prefer, or would you prefer face-to-face?
I prefer face-to-face.
Okay, sure.
But
You've been doing this for 36 years.
Right, right. But it works. And
It
if
works.
that's what somebody feels more comfortable with or more safe, then that's the way to do it.
Amy, your feelings on telehealth?
Well, I will tell you, when Brenda first brought up the option for telehealth, I was a little bit ornery about it. I am very much, like I said, I'd like to do a lot of experiential things, which it was a challenge for me to figure out how I was going to do that telehealth. And so it looked differently. I might have sent packages to the homes for this is what we're going to work on and this is how we can do it together. So it definitely was some adjusting. now looking back at it, I probably shouldn't have been so ornery about it, because I'm glad that we do have this option, especially when we think about, we live in a rural area. And when you think of being able to get services to some of the smaller rural areas that don't have enough providers, this really is a great opportunity for us to reach some of those areas, and they can still get quality, great support that they wouldn't be able to get anyway. So you were right, Brenda. You were right.
Well, it's a coming thing, and as long as we have the ability to get to people who can't get to us, it's the coming thing. And I think in the mental health area, we know that, we are rural, and they suffer from the lack of broadband and internet. So with that coming out also, we think this is going to be a bright future for telehealth, and we are very much in the telehealth business at Family Services. So we're coming up on our break right now, so don't touch that dial. We'll be right back when things aren't going well right here on KSCJ.
Let's face it, it happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva, and with me today from Family Services, Brenda Geisinger, Stacy Norton-Modell, and Amy Small. And during the first half of our show, we discussed the roles that the clinical therapists play at Family Services. But I want to talk to Brenda now, because she is the queen bee. Brenda has put this team together, and she manages it, and it's an outstanding team of people. So I'm going to let her describe how she does it and why it works so well. Brenda?
I've been with the agency for 32 years, almost 33. I am very blessed to work with phenomenal people, and these two are just a portion of the team. You'll continue to meet them the rest of the month, the other therapists. We just have a dynamic energy amongst all of us, and we feel very open to sharing different ideas. What's the newest trend, or what are things we're seeing or missing in the community that we need to reach out to? I think being in our new building adds some more vibrance to what we do and energy. It's pretty exciting that we're there. We've worked long and hard to get there, 5 years to get that project done, and this is the first phase. And hearing from our clients how wonderful it is and how quiet and soothing and professional really lights my heart, because it's the team that's bringing that to the building. You can have any four walls, but the team and the therapists that we have really bring that sense of professionalism, caring, nurturing, and calmness, and willingness to help. And that's just throughout the whole building. It's wonderful to see.
Well, Brenda wears two hats, and the other part of it is the residential treatment. Those are children that are with us 24/7, 365. And that presents another challenge. So you can see she has to work the residential side and the outpatient side. But in doing so, we cover an awful lot of ground at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. So let me turn it over to the ladies who work with you, Stacy and Amy. And you have the microphone right now. So you talk about working with Brenda and working with the team.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your support, Brenda. It really makes a difference having a supervisor who really lets us be able to have the freedom to do what we do well. I think that the team, I'm proud to work there. The professionalism and the ethics that everybody has, we respect each other. It doesn't matter if Amy's been there 4 years or a year. When somebody new comes in, we respect them and we take in what they have to offer us. And there isn't anybody that I work with that I wouldn't feel comfortable referring a family. Like if I'm working with a family and I can't work with everybody, we have to sometimes have, maybe parents be seen or siblings. There's not anybody there I wouldn't refer my client to. So
What a compliment. What a nice compliment. Amy?
When I think of Family Services and the team there, I think of growth. I look at the phenomenal, I'm stealing Brenda's word, phenomenal therapists that I work with. And I think about how much I've learned from them. There's a lot of people out there that are brilliant and they know a lot about their field, but they don't always know how to teach it or share that with others. And that's not the case here. They're willing to share with you their knowledge to help you be the very best that you can be. And I think that when we sit down and talk about things, we look at it more what's best for the team versus what's going to benefit me. And I think that is something you don't find everywhere.
Well, I think Stacy mentioned earlier that the clients sense this. How do your clients feel about it? Does this resonate with them the way that we work together? Does that resonate in the client outcome?
Absolutely, yes, because many of our clients, we work with a variety in the family, so we work as a team together. Let's say Amy's seeing a sibling and I'm seeing a sibling. She and I work together to communicate and address any issues, and sometimes we work together. We do work together, and it's interesting and helpful.
And it's really nice because since we're in the same building, there's the opportunity to have joint sessions, which is really when as we're both trained as social workers, and when you're trained as a social worker, you look at the whole system. You don't just work with the person that is coming into your office. And I think it gives us a better picture of what our individual client is experiencing outside of our office. So I really appreciate that.
There's the old saying, happy wife, happy life. I believe happy therapist, happy client. Because they're energetic, they believe in what they do, and they project that to their clients and are willing to help them and listen and make that journey together. And if you have a happy team, it shows. And most of the time, clients end up with good, positive results. And it's working together. It's not I'm going to tell you what to do. It's creating their life together and being happy in those choices.
Well, I've been at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services for 10 years. I just had my 10-year anniversary, and I love being there, and I'm so fortunate to work with such great people. I do not get into the clinical side. That's Brenda's business, and she runs it so well. So I could only echo the compliments that you've given to each other. It's a great team to work with, and I say with. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You hang in there, and I watch you grow, and you move you're like a movement. When you go, 5 individuals, and they're very strong individuals, but you move as a team, and I absolutely love that. It's always for the betterment of the whole, and you guys do a great job. So I've witnessed this for 10 years, and when we started the Family Services move out, I was telling Brenda, Family Services is going to lead this organization. And in the past, it always wasn't that way. It's Boys and Girls Home. And they do a very important job. But as the outpatient business grows and more people come aware, and as Stacy, you mentioned, people are getting rid of the stigma and coming for help, we're here. And we have a great team. And as you can hear from the years of experience, they know what they're doing. And this is only our first show of bringing you our therapists. We'll do this again next week with 2 other therapists. You get a little background on what they do so well and how long they've been doing it. We're here to help at Family Services. So with that, I've often wondered, and I've asked Brenda, what do the therapists do when they have a bad day? Because you deal with difficult cases. So how do you go home and not kick the dog? What do you guys do? How do you? I think I'm amazed by it because I know how difficult some of your cases are. So, Stacy, you want to open with that one?
I will. Yeah, I think all therapists, you need to have some kind of release. Like I enjoy walking, going for a walk when I get home, seeing my dog. I have a 15-minute drive on the way home that helps. I would say most days I don't have a lot I take home with me because the good news is a lot of the clients that we see come in, they have goals, and they are working on those goals, and a lot of them meet the goals.
Great.
But with abuse and things, that's where you really do have to have your own ability to be able to debrief and talk to people and get that out.
Amy?
So I have a variety of things that I do, and I think I've mentioned this on several shows, I love to dance, right? So I'm going to be dancing. I also have a distance to drive home, so I listen to, depending on the day, determines what station or what music I am playing and jamming out to in the car. And the other thing, this may sound cliche, but sometimes I just call my dad and I go and I get a hug from my dad. He is my rock and my support. And even though I can't necessarily talk to him about what happened in my day, I can tell him it's been a rough day and I'm 41 and Dad still just can make me feel better. So,
well, you guys make me feel better, and we're coming up on the end of our show right now, and it's been absolutely fantastic, and I want to thank you for sharing. We're going to do our little weekly joke. You know, humor's good for the soul, so I'm going to ask you a question. What did the mayonnaise say when the refrigerator door was open? Close the door, I'm dressing. Okay. Well, Brenda, Stacy, Amy, thanks for sharing your expertise today, and I want to thank our listening audience for joining us this morning. Shout out to Terry Horsley and the Stuff Store staff for a fantastic month they had in July. And happy birthdays to Henry Tiger, Chad Sheehan, Laura Vanderschwag, and Rita DeYoung. We'll be back next Saturday morning at 7 a.m. right here on KSCJ 1360 AM 94.9 FM, and we'll continue our celebration of the new family services facility located in Indian Hills. Don't forget to do your homework. Have a good laugh. It's good for the soul. So have a great week, and may the sun shine on you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you.